I want you to imagine this. Your body, the same body that's been with you through decades of life, still holds a remarkable ability to heal, to recover, to burn fat, and to regain a lightness you might have thought was lost forever. I'm not talking about some expensive medication or a harsh, complicated diet. I'm talking about something our ancestors used to do naturally, eating in rhythm with the body's internal clock and giving the body time to rest between meals. These days, we call it intermittent fasting. I once asked a patient of mine, a 63-year-old former mechanic, "Back when you were a kid, how many meals did you eat a day?" He chuckled and said, "Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That's it. Snacking was a luxury." You see, the human body wasn't designed to eat all day long. Every time we eat insulin, the hormone responsible for storing energy goes up. But when insulin stays elevated all the time, the body never gets a chance to tap into its stored fat. It just keeps holding on to it. And over time, the weight creeps up, belly fat builds, energy levels drop. Have you ever felt that way? Now, I'm not saying fasting is easy, but I can tell you this from the experience of hundreds of patients. When you allow your body to be intentionally hungry for a little while in a safe and mindful way, you're giving it a gift. A chance to return to its natural fat-burning state, just like it used to do when you were younger. One time I was having a quiet conversation with Edith, a 68-year-old patient of mine, after she had been practicing intermittent fasting for just over 2 months. She told me, "Doctor, I never imagined how freeing it would feel to not be ruled by hunger anymore. I used to need a pastry by 10 a.m., something sweet in the afternoon. But now, I'm in control of that. For the first time in years, I feel like I get to decide." That line stuck with me. And I want to share something important with you. Intermittent fasting isn't a punishment. It's a gentle return to your body's natural rhythm. Modern science confirms this too. When you allow insulin to drop, which simply means you're not eating all day long, your body begins to tap into stored fat for energy. That's not magic. That's how the human body has always worked since the days our grandparents farmed the land with their bare hands. Now I know. At our age, change doesn't come easily. But I also know this small things like when we eat can lead to powerful shifts in our health. I want you to imagine this. Back in the 1970s, most Americans ate just 3 meals a day: breakfast, lunch, and dinner. There were no mid-morning snacks, no box of pastries in the desk drawer, no refrigerator beeping at us in the middle of the night. And you know what? Back then, the obesity rate was only around 10 to 14%. Today, that number has climbed so high. Even I, after nearly 40 years in medicine, can't help but sigh. Have you ever noticed this? We're not just eating more. We're eating more often. I'm not talking about overeating. I'm talking about eating, even when we're not hungry. Another patient of mine, Harold, 72 years old, once said to me, "I never thought that little slice of cake after dinner would matter. At my age, I figured who cares anymore." But after he started eating at regular times, stopped nibbling in front of the TV, and let himself feel a little hungry. Now and then, his weight dropped, his sleep improved, and even his blood pressure leveled out. Now, I'm not here to promise you'll be running marathons at 70, but I can tell you this. If you simply eat less often, not necessarily less food, but with longer breaks in between, your body will begin to heal itself. Give your body a chance to breathe, a chance to rest, a chance to burn off the very things that have been weighing you down for so long. There's something I always remind my patients, especially those of us over 50, and it's this. At our age, the body doesn't forgive the way it did when we were 30. We can't just eat whatever we want and expect to feel fine the next day. We can't skimp on sleep, skip exercise, and still expect to feel light, strong, and energized. But you know what? The good news is the body still wants to heal. It still wants to return to balance. It just needs you to give it the time. And intermittent fasting, giving your body space between meals, is one of the simplest ways to offer it that gift of time. A lot of people think I'm too old to change anything now. I get that, I really do. But I've also seen people much older than you make gentle changes to their eating window, not because they want to look younger, but because they want to feel lighter. They want to wake up feeling clear-headed. They want to walk up the stairs without gasping. They want to remember their grandkids' names without needing reminders. A woman named Linda, age 66, told me after 6 weeks of eating only between 10 a.m. and 6 p.m., "Doctor, I don't feel that post-lunch fog anymore. I never imagined that just changing when I eat could make my body feel this different." That's not magic. That's biology. That's your body saying, "Thank you for finally listening to me." I know. Getting started is always the hardest part. So many of us have spent decades living with the mindset of eating to live, living to eat. Meals aren't just about nutrition. They're comfort, joy, family tradition. And let me be clear, I'd never tell you to give up those beautiful things. But I do want you to ask yourself something. Am I in control of my eating, or is my eating in control of me? That was the exact question a 70-year-old man asked himself right after he noticed his blood sugar kept creeping up, even though he wasn't eating more than before. The issue wasn't how much he ate, it was how often. So he decided to try a simple eating window from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. Just a few weeks later, he called me and said, "Doc, for the first time in 15 years, I didn't need a sleeping pill last night." Now, fasting isn't some sleep medicine, but when your digestive system gets a chance to rest, your brain does too. You see, intermittent fasting isn't about starving yourself. It's not some harsh diet. It's a gentle reminder that no matter how old we are, we still have the power to take charge of our health. You don't need to do it perfectly. Just do it with awareness, with patience, with trust that when you give your body just a little breathing room, it will give something back. Not a miracle pill, but something far better, its own natural balance. And sometimes, it's in that quiet pause that you finally begin to feel alive again. You know, there's something age has taught me. Not from textbooks, not from medical journals, but from simply living life. And it's this: every lasting change begins with awareness, not fear of disease, not because someone told you you have to do this or that, but because one day something inside you quietly says, "I want to live differently, lighter, less dependent, more free." At the end of the day, intermittent fasting isn't really about what time you eat or how long you don't. It's a gentle reminder. A reminder that we're allowed to slow down, that we don't always need to be filling ourselves, not just our stomachs, but our minds too. That in a world constantly pushing us to want more food, more activity, more noise, we have the right to choose a little less, and maybe a little more clarity. An older gentleman once asked me, "Doc, do you think it's too late for me to change?" I took his hand, looked him in the eye, and said, "If you're brave enough to ask that question, you've already started changing." So today, if you're watching this, I hope you won't just watch and move on. Try something. Just one small shift. Maybe don't eat after 7 p.m. or push breakfast back an hour. Then listen to your body. Really listen, like you're catching up with an old friend you've been ignoring. Because sometimes what your body needs isn't more pills, more advice, or more rules. It just needs you. You coming back. You finally listening. You know, after all these years of practicing medicine, I've come to realize something. Something no medical textbook ever taught me: the human body. Especially one that has weathered the seasons of age doesn't just need medication. It needs to be respected. And intermittent fasting, or time-restricted eating, is at its heart an act of respect. A respect for your natural rhythms. A respect for your body's quiet ability to heal. A respect for age. without surrendering to it. Now, I won't pretend this is always an easy path. Some mornings you'll wake up hungry earlier than usual. Some days dinner will be late because guests are over. But that's okay, because the important thing is you're moving in the right direction. And anyone who has entered this stage of life intentionally knows this truth. We're not chasing perfection anymore. We're choosing consistency. So tomorrow, if you wake up and forget to eat at 7 a.m. like you usually do, smile. Because in that moment, you're remembering you have the power to choose differently, to give your body a bit more rest, to let your liver do its job more efficiently, to let your mind feel just a little clearer. You don't have to wait until something goes wrong to start living well. You can begin today. He rises, takes a few slow steps toward the window, looks out where sunlight gently spills across the garden lawn, and says one last line soft as a farewell from an old friend. Your body has walked with you your whole life. Now's the time to finally listen to it. And who knows, maybe aging isn't the final chapter, but the chance to live the most meaningful one. Dear friend, if you've stayed with me all the way to this moment, then I believe something inside you is beginning to shift. Maybe it's just a small curiosity. Maybe it's a quiet desire to live a little healthier. Or maybe it's that faint, lingering thought, I want to live better for myself and for the ones I love. And if that's you, I want you to know this. I believe in you. No matter your age, no matter your circumstances. As long as you take a moment each day, just a small pause to truly listen to your body and give it a chance to heal itself, that's more than enough. We don't have to change our whole lives overnight. We just need to begin with one small step. Today.